The great Walter Payton once said, when you're good at something, you will tell everyone. When you're great at something, they will tell you. Time will tell with Sanders, okay? But stop the nonsense. Moving forward, all right, I've said this and I say it 100 times. I think Shedeur Sanders was much better than a fifth-round pick, okay? But we're going to get into that. Let's get into the rest of the draft. Hated that Jacksonville traded up and got the second overall pick, traded with Cleveland, because it took the shine from the Titans. We talked about it a little earlier on the show with our guy Jonathan. So I hated that. And I really feel like ESPN did them dirty. They didn't show the onstage interview. They didn't show a lot of the other stuff for the number one overall pick. That's just crazy. Like, what are we doing? All right. The Giants trade back into the first round at pick 25 to pick Jackson Dart after taking Abdul Carter third overall. I love the Abdul Carter pick at 3. I do not understand trading back into the first round to pick Jackson Dart, especially because you had already passed pick 21, where the Steelers, who supposedly had a first round draft pick on Jackson Dart, had already picked. So what was the point? I'm not saying that somebody wasn't going to take him early in the first round, especially with Cleveland having 2 picks. But I mean, it didn't make much sense. It was a weird pick for me. And it kind of hurt the Giants in their draft grade for me. We're going to stick with the quarterbacks because after Ward and Dart, it really got kind of weird. The Saints went ahead and picked Tyler Stroud. If he can stay healthy, I do like the pick for the Saints. Okay, he's a big, strong quarterback. He's got some tape that's really kind of weird. He's got a couple of interceptions that didn't make a whole lot of sense. All right, but I think that as long as he can stay away from the injury bug, I think New Orleans is going to be a good place for him. He plays in a dome. He's got a good arm. He's played a ton of football. So I think that this is, going to be good for them. But we'll see how it pans out. The one for the quarterback that I did not think should have came out was Jalen Milroe. I thought Jalen Milroe should have went back to Alabama. But with that being said, I will say he went to the best situation for him, getting drafted by the Seahawks. This could be the Seahawks quarterback of the future. He can sit behind Sam Darnold, right? He can kind of learn how to be consistent. He's, probably one of the biggest athletes in this year's draft. So when he's running, he's great. And when he's being consistent and when he's on, the dude is lights out. In the first 4 games of the Alabama season, he was lights out. And if he had played the entire season that way, he probably would have been a first round pick. Okay. But I do like Jalen Milroe going to Seattle, being able to sit behind Darnold. I think that this is going to be a good situation for him. Situation that I don't think is any good. The Browns. Like, I don't understand what the Browns are doing. Why would you spend a 3rd round pick on Dillon Gabriel, quarterback out of Oregon, and then turn around and take Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round? Did you just take him because at your pick in the 5th round, he was there? So you just went best available player? But what are we doing? Look at their draft, their quarterback room. You got Father Time himself, Joe Flacco. And then after that, you have Kenny Pickett, who really isn't any good. And then you have 2 infants, and I call them infants because they're rookies, in Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Now, I will say that with picking Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, you have a fantastic opportunity to have your starting quarterback and your future quarterback be picked in the 5th round. I do think Shedeur is much better than a 5th round pick. I can see why the interviews and everything would have dropped him out of the 1st, potentially the 2nd. I don't think Shedeur should have fallen out of the 3rd round, but it is what it is, and it happened. But Cleveland's quarterback room is a mess right now. Philly takes their backup quarterback and Kyle McCord out of Syracuse. Okay. This one, to me, is really where I'm starting to try to figure out what's going on. Right? How does Kyle McCord go before Will Howard and Quinn Ewers? And we're going to get into Quinn Ewers here in a second. But whatever. Philly wants their backup quarterback. They have a good quarterback, strong arm. I like them. The Steelers finally take their quarterback. I have a cousin of mine, T. I love you, big dog. He was pulling his hair out the entire time with the draft because of the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. But they get their quarterback in the 6th round with Will Howard. And honestly, This makes it seem like that front office and Mike Tomlin knew what they were doing. I like the Will Howard pick for Pittsburgh. He gets to come in and potentially sit behind Aaron Rodgers. Rooney of the Steelers have said that the deal is potentially close to being done. So if you can get Will Howard to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, mature, learn how to play the game in the NFL, I think this could be great for them. I think Will Howard could be ready when his number is called to take the reins and be the starting quarterback for years to come for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At the end of the day, this is a national championship winning quarterback, and not just like a great defense national championship winning, be it Ohio State had a great defense. Will Howard made phenomenal throws. He can make the throws. He had a bad combine, and this goes back to what I said a little bit ago. Stop measuring everything on the combine. Okay. Put the tapes on, watch that.